The most outdated belief today is this: go to school, find a job, work tirelessly, save money, get out of debt, and invest for the long run in the stock market. But why would you save money when the government is printing trillions? The divide between the wealthiest 1% and the rest is enormous. It's not only about money. You need to zoom out and see the full picture. So what should you do? Inside each of us lives a poor person. I still have that mindset in me. There's also a middle-class mindset, one that seeks comfort and a stable paycheck. And then there's the rich mindset. But the problem is, no one teaches you about that. We're told to get an education, get a job, and collect a salary. We're not taught how to generate wealth. If you've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you'd know that my rich dad never paid me. He believed a paycheck was one of the most harmful things you could rely on. He said once you accept a paycheck, you become an employee, and that mindset limits you. My rich dad wanted me to be free, not a slave to money. He wasn't saying paychecks are evil. He just didn't want to depend on them. As an entrepreneur, if one business fails, I start another. I don't need a salary or anyone to support me. If my government turns on me, I'll relocate, because countries need entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is not just about business. It's a mindset, a skill set, and a different set of rules. The rules that govern small businesses aren't the same as those for big corporations. Employees, small business owners, and entrepreneurs, each plays by different rules, has different skills, and thinks differently. If someone asked me what to consider before becoming an entrepreneur, I'd share my own story. I still remember my last paycheck. It was in Puerto Rico working for Xerox. It was a bonus check, around $30,000, taxable. I was both thrilled and uneasy. A colleague, John, came up to me and said, "You'll be back. You'll fail." He had left Xerox, failed, and returned. I looked him in the eye and said, "You may have failed and returned, but I'll fail and never come back." That's the mindset you need. If you think, if I fail, I'll just go back to mom and dad, that's exactly what you'll do. I had no money for years, but that's what my rich dad wanted. When you don't have a steady paycheck, you become sharper and more resourceful. It's a test of your character. Will you cheat or grow into a better person? Entrepreneurship reveals who you truly are when you have nothing. Always consider the bigger picture. When something bad happens, good is likely to follow, if you're prepared. If you think the next 20 years will mirror the past 20, you're in for a shock. We check milk for expiration, but most people never update their thinking. I dive into debt. I just refinanced $300 million from 5% to 2.5% interest and profited massively. While experts tell you to avoid debt, I say, learn to use it. When I returned from Vietnam in 1973, the first thing my rich dad told me was, go learn how to invest in real estate, not just to buy property, but to understand debt and taxes. Those two things make the rich wealthier and the poor poorer. Even high-earning professionals like doctors are getting crushed by taxes. A friend of mine bragged about making $1 million, but paid $750,000 in taxes. I make $1 million and keep it, because I don't earn through wages. The first lesson in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is, the rich don't work for money. We build businesses. We invest in real estate. I don't touch the stock market because as an entrepreneur, I control my income and taxes. I pay zero in taxes because I reinvest in real estate. $1 million investment becomes $4 million with the bank's help. That's why I love banks. Even if they exploit others, they benefit me. Printing money helps me, but destroys those who save or work for wages. That's the paradox. Printing enriches debtors and destroys savers. Obsolete thinking leads to obsolete results. The world changed in 1971 when Nixon detached the dollar from gold. Money became debt. So is school obsolete? Not entirely. Education is crucial, but the current system is outdated. Moore's law tells us information doubles every 18 months. By the time you graduate, you're already behind. Banks are now charging interest to save your money. They don't even want it. That's why we're seeing asset bubbles. Cash is trash. Saving money and seeking a high-paying job are outdated strategies. Learning how to leverage debt and understand taxes, that's the new game. The rich aren't just lucky, they understand the game. Most so-called entrepreneurs are really just self-employed. and they pay the highest taxes. The real game changer is mindset. There's no such thing as a bad economy. There's the external world and your internal economy. If you have a strong internal mindset, you'll rise no matter what. If your mindset is weak, you'll fall even in good times. Entrepreneurship is about internal control. If you fall, you stand up stronger. But if your focus is external, you'll always be reacting to the world. When you rely on a paycheck, you're an employee. To be free, you must control what's within.